discovered I had cancer in 2016. It was 1 week before my 38th birthday. I was laying in bed, having a little bit of indigestion, and was feeling up through, I guess you would say, like my breastbone. I felt what felt like a bone sticking out of my breast. I mean, you could even see it if you stood a certain way in the mirror. I freaked out a little and went to my next door neighbor, Allie's house. She's always been in the medical field, and I had her feel, and she said, you know, Michelle, you definitely want to go see the doctor tomorrow if you can. I was hoping for a cyst, and it was triple negative breast cancer. My first reaction and the first thoughts that went through my head when they called and told me was, honestly, I was just in shock, and I was very emotional immediately. I believe I called my mom first. I was in my best health, feeling the best. I was loving myself more than ever. And yeah, you know, just those late 30s, you start to have that confidence, and that was really just tanked as soon as those words came out, you have cancer. The treatment that was to follow after they biopsied and verified everything, and actually I remember during the biopsy I said, please don't let this be bad enough that I have to have chemo and lose my hair. That's all I could think about. At the time, my hair was halfway down my back, almost to my waist. I mean, I had, you know, long, pretty blonde hair. And I always thought this is me being really honest, I always thought I was that much prettier or pretty because of my hair. So when I was told that we decided on a lumpectomy, they didn't want me to have a double mastectomy. I was in treatment and everything for 6 months total. And then I had a hysterectomy in November. But once I lost my hair, my friend Mackenzie made it really fun. And once I lost it, you know, I grasped it, and it was okay. After you receive treatment, you're considered a survivor. Everyone celebrates. It's a happy moment because you're not going to be sick anymore. You've hopefully kicked this cancer in its butt. But triple negative breast cancer travels through the blood. It's a very aggressive, newer cancer. So after treatment, they send you along. You would be considered, in the breast cancer world, they say NED, no evidence of disease, because they don't see anything in the scans, but it could be traveling in your blood. It'd still be there and finding its way to another source or something. So that's what I was, and I had 5 years. I needed to make it to 5 years before my chances of it coming back would drop from 35% to 2%. It's very rare, but I was at 4.5 years. I was just having fun, traveling. Yeah, it slapped me across the face when it came back. 2020, we all know that was a fabulous year. I was, you know, living life fully, like I said, and so me and some friends would go down to Fort Lauderdale for a weekend. I did that a couple times in late summer 2020. I was sitting on the bed and I went to get up and had no feeling in my left leg and literally collapsed to the floor. When I got back home on August 4th, I drove myself straight to the hospital, and very quickly they took me back to a private room, and a young doctor who was male actually started crying and told me that I had 15 brain tumors. So when he told me that, the feelings that raced through my head, I'm sure you can imagine, were pretty much just everything. Probably the first thing was shock. You know, I had a friend ask, you know, Michelle, I kind of have the feeling like you always kind of had this back of your mind subconscious feeling that this would come back. And I did. I've had a lot of struggles in my life. I know, you know, a lot of us have. But I always say nothing came easy to me. And yeah, so I kind of just thought, like, geez, you know, and everyone thinks of me as like, oh, geez, Michelle, she has the worst of luck, you know, stupid little things. So, but I was just, yeah, I was devastated. absolutely. I mean, to be told you have your cancer back, but to be told it's in your brain and you have 15 little tumors flying around there is just awful. So I stayed in the hospital for, I think altogether 4 days, where they did MRIs and CAT scans. And then that's when I learned that it was not just in the brain, and it was in the lungs at that time and my sternum bone. When you're told that kind of news, you think right away death, you know? You think, oh gosh, like, how long do I have, you know? Like, is this going to kill me and I'm going to, you know, wake up tomorrow and be dead by the end of the day? Like, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know. So it was very, 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 very scary. With my children, this time around, they're older and more mature, very smart kids, very independent. The first time around, they were 2. My son was 2, and my daughter was 5. So my son just thought it was funny that mommy had a bald head all of a sudden. And my daughter kind of hated me, I think, for a moment, because I was going to chop off all my long hair and then go bald. This time around, it was actually easy to tell them, because we've always been so honest with each other. Her first question was, "Mommy, you gonna lose your hair again?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Well, I just really don't want you to lose your hair and be in a wheelchair." I stay positive by really probably the most living in the moment. I try not to think too far ahead. I've always said my anxiety has always come out physical and not so much emotional or mental. I can tell I get anxiety because some days I'll throw up because of it. Some days I just have that butterfly feeling all day and my body just hurts extra bad. Of course, how could I ever not be positive when I have the people surrounding me like they do? My friends, my family, strangers, neighbors. And it just fills me with positivity and love. And, you know, like Robin Roberts says, everybody's got something. My something is this. You know, there's people who are addicted to drugs. There's people who have mental illnesses that don't get enough attention. And then there's, you know, all the cancers in the world. So a lot of us deal with something. Do I have hope for the future? Yes, absolutely. When I was first diagnosed, honestly, I was, you know, surfing the internet looking at the 3 to 6 months that they give you to live. That, I am here to tell you, absolutely means nothing. I've read enough books and experienced enough that I definitely believe that your mental state can cure disease and let you live a lot longer with the disease. If I could give the world one message, and it's from a book I read, It's Not Supposed to Be This Way, which I just love in itself. It's by Lisa. I'm not even going to try to say your last name, Lisa, because I ruin last names all the time. This would probably be the message I would say. Isn't it a beautiful thing that keeping our eyes on the Lord makes our burden light? And then He takes our burden and uses it as light? In the end, not only will our suffering produce perseverance, endurance for our race, but it will bring forth hope, glorious hope for all. As you know, I'm so thankful, and I just want to thank you guys again for all the love, support, prayers. It's friends, family, neighbors, strangers. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all that you have done to help me through this and continue to do, and giving me more strength and more hope and more just everything. I love you all.